All right, y'all, we are back in studio. Another special episode of Let's Talk Fish. Another special guest, Mr. Shane LeHue, in the house tonight. Shane, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Shane drove. What is it? You an hour?
I'm an hour. Yep.
We got some dedicated buddies around here. I'm gonna tell you, New drives 2 hours. You drive an hour. Hank drives an hour. Let's see. David Williams has been on the show. Lineberger's been on the show. Jake Whitaker's been on the show. Everybody drives an hour to be on Let's Talk Fish. But no, we really appreciate that. Like we can't. And anytime I can get somebody in here and give Smoke a break. We took a majority vote last week on who because New's been in here probably more than anybody. And he, by the way, he drives 2 hours. Literally, y'all, he drives 2 hours to be on the show. And which New we can't thank you enough for. By the way, good luck to all the boys down there. We got a lot of buddies. I'm sure you got a lot of buddies fishing the Bassmaster Open at Lake Hartwell this week. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, I had the viewers take a vote last week on New or Smoke because we might have a potential new co-host for the show in New because when New comes in, number one, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. He doesn't have it. He's got more of a filter now than he used to.
Yeah, maybe.
Depends on what day.
Yeah,
what day of the week it is, or if he's with Brittany or not.
Exactly.
Brittany's New's wife. If y'all remember an episode we did a while back, we had both of them on the show, which was entertaining to say the least. But first off, let's talk about Let's Talk Fish's presenting sponsor, Angler's Choice Marine. Y'all are very familiar with them. A lot of you do business with them. We appreciate that. They appreciate that. Thrift and I have been getting our boats through those dealerships for years and years and years and years. Great customer service, one of the biggest inventories on the East Coast, 3 locations, Martinsville, Virginia, Lexington, North Carolina, and Spindale, North Carolina. And if you are in the market for a new boat, especially a White River Marine brand, whether it's a Ranger, Nitro, Triton, they've got them in stock now, and they are ready for you to come take a look. They've got a huge showroom. Martinsville, Virginia's got the biggest of the 3. They've all got nice showrooms, but huge inventories. Great people. Take good care of you before and after the sale. So check them out, Angler's Choice Marine. You can go to their website. They also have a really cool tournament trail that they're running. I think their first tournament's coming up pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken, or their first, or not their first. It might be their championship since we're in the fall now. I get so discombobulated after the season, Shane. I don't know about you, but I forget.
All runs together.
Yeah, I forget where I'm at and what time of year it is. I do know it's deer season. I do, but we're not allowed to talk deer hunting. I know we're not allowed to talk deer hunting. But a big shout out to Angler's Choice Marine, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. And first off, I want to congratulate the college champion because he is from Shane's alma mater.
Yep.
And UNC Charlotte, where Shane attended, and you fished for the team there, right?
I did. Yeah, I did for 3 years, I believe.
3 years?
Yeah,
2 years.
3 years.
Okay. Was the team fairly new when you were there at UNC Charlotte?
No, it'd been a few years. Joe Kinchin actually started it, I believe.
Okay, I think I've met Joe before.
Yeah.
Yep.
He used to fish Norman quite a bit. I believe he's moved. So we fished bass and FLW. When I was there, we focused mostly on FLW.
Okay.
For whatever reason. I don't know what that was. But yeah, congrats to Lewis. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, for a college kid to be able to fish in the biggest tournament in the world, the Bassmaster Classic, and to have an opportunity. And then Tyler told me before the show that he also got all his entry fees paid for the 2023 Bassmaster Open schedule.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Shane, first question Shane asked was, is he a senior?
Right.
Because, that'd be hard to balance 9 Bassmaster Opens.
Yeah, I don't know if he can get off that much school.
Yeah, well, he could do it.
Yeah.
Just could he actually
It'd
get
be
back
really,
to where,
really hard.
Yeah, get back to where he needed to be. But that being said, it was a really good showdown on Fox Sports. If anybody caught some of the live coverage, I got to watch a little bit on Saturday, but that's all I got to watch. Busy through the weekend. Did you get to see any of it?
Yeah, I got to watch a little bit. Yep.
Was Cobb a guest speaker? They had to have him sometime throughout there.
I don't think so because he's in Alaska.
Well, that's right. You told me he was in Alaska catching halibut and salmon.
I don't think they did. I know.
Polinick was on there.
Yeah, Polinick.
Yeah. But the reason I asked that because they fished the final 2 days, if I'm right. They fished Lake Greenwood, which is Cobb's home lake, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about Lake Greenwood. We're not going to talk about this very long, but Lake Greenwood is where I think my first club tournament victory came. I was in high school, and that lake used to be crazy good,
Yeah.
like 10-pounders,
Yeah.
like really good. And then I don't know, people could say it's the introduction of spotted bass or just, just time or the development around the lake is obviously a huge part of that. It's still a good lake. It doesn't have the amount of big, giant, largemouth in it like it used to, I don't think. That probably just comes down to competition.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you assume?
I would think so. I mean, I think mostly probably just fishing pressure. It's not a huge lake. It's
Right.
not a real big body of water. And also recreational pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
boats running around, all that stuff. So
Changes things.
it does.
And for him to catch, I think I saw, the average bag, a good bag was like 10 to 12 pounds.
Right.
But he had like 16 or 17 pounds one day. And that's like this time of year on any lake in the Carolinas, like that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. And he had the bites for that. I don't know if it was Saturday or the last day, but he lost 2 or 3 big fish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Had a
the
chance
last
for
day
a
didn't
really,
cost
really-
him, so that's good.
No, he
So-
had a chance for a really, really big bag.
Well,
And he fished against Jackson Swisher, who I actually got to take fishing one time after the bass events. You know how we take people fishing?
yeah.
And that kid is a phenomenal fisherman.
Oh, wow. So how did you get paired up with him?
We did that. It was high school. I think he took the high school All-Americans fishing for a
Okay,
day.
got you.
Yeah, I got paired up with him, and kid's a phenomenal caster.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's really, really good. So for Lewis to beat him, he beat somebody that is very, very talented.
Well, and all those kids, you can't say enough about how talented the college contingent of anglers is now. And it comes down to one thing, and that's access to resources.
Yeah.
The access they have to information and, the live coverage that shows all the tours now. I mean, there is nothing you can hide anymore out there, right? You can't even hide a cadence on how you work a certain bait anymore, because it's going to come out eventually.
Yeah.
But congrats to Lewis, and good thing is Shane and I will both see you in March at the Classic. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second too. But let's talk about real quick. I'm not going to talk about this long, but I got a couple things I want to say about it, and I'm going to let you start. Just see if you want to say anything about it. But I've already seen some stuff. Keith Wood's talking about it. He said the stock and egg sinkers are dropping this week for some reason, but. So if anybody is breathing, basically, you've probably heard about this cheating scandal with these walleye anglers. I don't even want to call them anglers because they don't even deserve that description. But these guys who have they got busted on site for putting lead weights in their fish. It was a walleye tournament. They were fishing for $30,000-$40,000, something like that. Come to find out, they were also leading the team of the year. These guys had won over several $100,000. I don't know exactly over the past couple of years fishing these events. And here's what I have a problem with. Obviously, the cheating is horrendous. The guys should never fish again. I think they should be hit with felonies. That's fraud. That's those guys are no better than somebody going out here to the car lot and stealing a car.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same
theft.
thing. And anybody that does that is scum, more or less. I mean, that's it's pitiful. It's a black eye to our sport, and this is my biggest issue. Shane and I were talking about this before the show. I've had no less than 20 buddies reach out to me that don't even fish much or follow fishing a lot. They follow a little bit because I do it or whatever, but they're like, oh, did you hear about this? What's the deal with these weights and these fish? These guys cheating. Did you know these guys? Were you in this tournament? Things like that. Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, no, that's a walleye tournament. I explained to them what that is and the difference in what we do. And then I explained to them, or I asked them, where did you hear about it? Come to find out, it has been on Fox News. Shane just told me that it's been on the ESPN scroll bar at the bottom of the screen. It's been in the New York Times. It's been in the Washington Post. I mean, it's been on the largest media platforms that our country has, period. And that's just I know this will never be fixed, but that's just a general problem with the media now.
Yeah.
It's they only bring the negative things to light. That is a huge black eye to our sport. For all the people that don't know what our sport's all about, and how important the integrity of professional fishing really is, it just makes us all look like fools. It really does. And these guys need to be severely punished for that. But on the flip side of that, these media outlets need to be punished too. But it'll never happen.
No,
but they do, because you go out, Shane LaHue goes and wins the Bassmaster Classic, the biggest tournament on the bass fishing stage, and you're not going to get an article in the New York Times or the Washington Post, or you're not going to be on Fox News.
No.
You'll probably be on ESPN.
Yeah,
I got to give ESPN credit. They've
Yeah.
talked about the Classic champ. But what do you think about this whole cheating scandal?
I mean, to me, like you said, I mean, you nailed it. It's unfortunately with the day and age of social media, whatever gets the views, the likes, all that stuff. So it's going to be not really blown out of proportion, because it does need to be put on a national broadcast, just because, now people are going to see that. Well, if you do it, you might go to jail. These guys might be in for, I know they're going to be in for big fines at the minimum. Never going to be able to fish again. Like you said, they were leading team of the year or whatever it was. I'm surprised they made it out of the parking lot, to be honest.
Well, that's exactly what Keith Wood said. He said he can't believe they were able to walk to their trucks on their own. Well, are you having some camera issues, Tyler? Okay, we're having a You want to switch one out? You want to switch this one out? Because we don't need, if we got that one, that way they're not looking at me the whole time. They got to see Shane's pretty face too.
No.
But if y'all hear Shane talking but you don't see him, it's because we only have one camera working at the moment.
The camera knows.
Yeah, the camera knows. That's right. But yeah, so if you watch several of the video clips that came out from this cheating incident, the tournament director was, who I heard was like an ex-police officer, by the way, or was a police officer, I'm not sure. Obviously, he got really fired up when he found the weights.
Well, for good reason.
Yeah, but then he told everybody to make sure they didn't lay a hand on those guys, which was the right thing to do.
It was,
as much as everybody wanted to probably crush their skulls in and watch them, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But he did the right thing, because that could have become really messy really fast.
Yeah, it could have.
They
they did keep it under. I know there was a lot of bad language and all that, and guys are going to be fired up. I mean,
absolutely,
tempers are going to flare. Yeah, tempers are going to flare at that point. But yeah, he did a great job as a tournament director to keep it where it was.
Yeah,
in my eye,
he did. And for that guy to stand there and take what he had to take,
I know,
was pretty amazing just to witness. Because you talking about being at one of the highest highs and the lowest lows. And it's funny, because a close friend of mine sent me a video of an interview that guy did in a boat. They were out there in the boat with him, because he was like, he might have been team of the year before or something. I don't know. But he just had that arrogance about him.
Yeah.
And kind of that really, I'm the man type personality. Right. And that's just the way he came across in the interview. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way to watch him, be interviewed. And, truth came out eventually. But, I've had several people say, well, is he not going to get punished for all the previous tournaments that he's cheated? And I said, well, the problem with that is you don't have any hard evidence for that.
Right.
You can't go back and make the guy pay back X amount of dollars that he won here, there, and there. I think his penalties and fines should be catastrophic.
I'm sure they will.
And I hope they will be. But that's anyway. I don't even. I've heard so much about it over the last 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, that's all you hear about right now on social media. If you're into anything fishing, that's the only thing on.
Or not fishing.
Yeah, true. Apparently.
I mean, that was my point earlier. Like, you can't, like, all these people that
can't get away from it.
Don't even follow fishing, they've heard about it. So, anyway, Binkwood asked about, do those guys get to keep their own dead fish? Because he can't imagine they donate those fish with weights in them and not get caught. That's a good question. But there was a cheating incident here years back. And I could be wrong when I say this. A lot of those organizations, when they have dead fish weighed in, those fish are donated to a local charity or church or somebody to where they go to feed people that need it. That is how I heard the fellow who got busted cheating here locally was caught. Mm-hmm. Now, that I don't know if that's a fact or not, but it makes sense, because if there's 12 dead fish weighed in a tournament that Shane and I fished, and there's 150 boats in it, everybody that weighed in a dead fish, which is usually not a large amount, that's noted on the weigh-in.
Right.
Okay, so they know if Shane weighed in a dead one and Matt weighed in a dead one. They can go back after this guy who cleaned these fish said, hey, I've got a dead fish with weights in it, and they can go back and they can say, all right, these 9 guys weighed in a dead fish. So they've already narrowed it down to 9 guys out of Lord knows how many.
Right.
So then the next tournament comes around. These guys bring their fish up to weigh. The weigh master, the guys who check them at the bump tub, they grab the fish, they press their bellies, they massage the fish, whatever they do to try to feel if there's any lead inside of them. And that's how I heard it went down at the Lake Walleye incident years ago. So, and I think our buddy Mac Lowe is the one who actually discovered the weights.
Really?
And that, you know, there again, it's a sad situation, but it happens. Unfortunately, it happens in every sport. You know, there's cheating in every sport. We talked about it before, but there's rule breaking and then there's blatant cheating, and there's definitely a huge difference. You know, and you can listen to that on a previous episode that we had. But let's jump into Shane's century belt. I'm gonna let you explain to the viewers that don't know what a century belt means. And if you don't tell them how hard it is to get one, I've never got one, how hard it is to get one, I'll go into detail about how hard it really is to get one, because Shane's probably not one to brag on himself. But talk about your century belt this year, because that's absolutely unbelievable just to think about catching that in 4 days of tournament fishing. Very few people in the world will ever do that or be capable of doing that or have an opportunity to do that. But talk about it a little bit, where it happened and what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so it was at the Lake Fork event this year. So over 4 days of fishing and competition, if you break 100 pounds, you get this cool wrestling title belt, I would call it.
There's a picture of it on Shane's Facebook page.
Yeah, there is. So yeah, obviously, Matt, I mean, it's something that's really, really tough to do, because you have to be at the right lake. You have to be at the right time of year. Everything's got to line up. And, you know, I finished 4th place in that event. So there was 3 more handed out at Lake Fork. And typically there is one every year.
At that lake, for sure, yeah.
At that lake. But, you know, I didn't really think I had a chance. I kind of blew it the 3rd day. So I only had like 21 the 3rd day, and I had a really, really tough morning. Just back to back to back. And that really took the wind out of my sails. It was actually kind of later in the day. I found a place that they got back on. You know how bad they are to move. That morning catching a big one, I caught 20 pounds pretty quick, which doesn't sound like a lot, or does sound like a lot, but it's really not at Fork. And then from there, it was a struggle until about 12 o'clock. I was struggling.
What did you need the final day to have 100, to break 100?
I think it was upper 27s.
Like 27 something,
Yeah,
28 almost?
27.
Okay.
And
So you were at
3/4.
20 pounds and wasn't getting a bite most of the day?
No, and I was catching say around 11 to 1. I would just hit a
We got some comments about freezing videos and things like that, Tyler, FYI. He gave me the thumbs up. See what happens.
At about 1 o'clock, you know, the bite would get good for me again. I guess you could say I would catch several big ones late in the day. So I kept my head down and just kept going, and I pulled out a big 10-inch Berkeley power worm, trusty.
Old Faithful.
Yep, and that's what I caught all my big ones on the last day. You know, I stuck with that topwater deal a little too long. I think if I would have just flipped wood and fished those points with that big worm, those shell bars and stuff like that, I think I would have caught a little more weight. But, you know, you're doing the math. Like I said, you're doing the math in your head. I caught that big fish, and I'm trying to add it up while I'm fishing. And then, of course, I lose one, and I'm like, all right, I got to quit thinking about this. 100 pounds really doesn't matter. Let's keep fishing. And then I caught like a 3-something that called a 2-something, and I turned around to my cameraman. I said, I think that's it, and he gave me the thumbs up.
Well, the good thing is you know exactly what you got because they weigh them in their boat, you know.
Yeah. Well,
at least you didn't have to guess, right?
Well, I hit a little flurry where we were adding fishing, and then, you know, my marshal's sitting there trying to write them down and all that, and he's trying to do the math in his head, and I'm trying to do the math, and so luckily we got to that 100 pounds, and I ended up catching the biggest bag that day, for the 4th day, so
Oh, you had the largest bag that day. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
What was
20,
your
28 something? I
28
think.
something?
Yeah, low 28s.
Ah, fun day.
But
I am getting real choppy video and audio problems, Tyler. So just y'all let us know if it clears up. Hopefully it does. I know Jeff's not here tonight. No offense to Tyler, but Tyler's not the tech Jeff. The techie guy Jeff is. Tyler's helping Jeff out because Jeff's not able to be here. So hopefully we get it worked out. Okay, Bono Fishing said it's working good for him now. I'm seeing the video clear on my phone. I've heard some audio issues. So you're listening to it though, Tyler. So he knows.
It was going in and out, but
It's cleaning up now. Okay, I'm getting all clear, good now. All right, so we're good. Oh, I hope they didn't miss the whole Century Belt story. But if you did miss any of that, another shout out to Shane who hit 100 pounds, broke 100 pounds at Lake Fork this year, and like he said, gets a really flipping cool wrestling belt.
well,
And
we went to St. Lawrence and
what'd you catch there?
like 97 and a half.
So
I
you almost hit
got two
Century
And I
Belts in
should've.
one season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know the first day was
Yeah.
one of those days, but
I lost two really big smallmouth that would have done it.
and
And I
hindsight's 2022.
Yeah, I know
so.
it is. I mean, it was bad decision making on my part the first day, and I started somewhere the second day, and it was dumb good.
All right. Well, you caught. What was your total at Fort?
It was
103.
no, it was barely over. I think
Okay,
it was
I was
like
going to say, well, you
109.
caught 200 pounds in
Yeah.
8 days. I mean, that's
100 pounds, 9 ounces, or something like that.
well, and we shouldn't say 200 pounds in 8 days. When we say 200 pounds in 8 days, that's 40 fish, by the way. So that's you're talking about a 5-pound average.
Yeah.
And to do it on a 100% largemouth fishery and then jump into a smallmouth fishery, which I mean, the St. Lawrence River was just fishing out of its mind this year.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was crazy.
I've never seen anything like that. I knew it was going to be good because of the weather
Yeah.
and the lake option
That
and
was
things like that.
100% it.
But that's still 100 pounds of smallmouth is 100 pounds of smallmouth. I don't any way you look at it. 90 pounds of smallmouth is 90. I mean, that's unreal. That's a pretty cool feat, man. And to have one of those belts, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous. I've never been close to 100 pounds. I mean, I've never made it to the fourth day at any of the tournaments that I could have caught 100
No,
pounds
right.
in. So, but to be on pace to catch 100 pounds, you got to be.
Right.
I mean, we're fortunate to go to a handful of fisheries where it's actually possible. Next year's schedule, thinking about it ahead of time, we don't go back to Fort. I mean, Okeechobee is an outside shot, but I
Yeah.
don't see it happening there.
Back in the day, yes, but now.
Yeah, Santee probably not postponed.
Probably
We're
not.
probably going to be there postponed. I don't think 100 pounds is. I mean, it's possible, highly unlikely. I think. Where else do we go? Sabine River might hit 20 pounds over 4 days, but not 100.
I'd be happy with that.
Would you?
Yeah.
6 pound limit a day usually gets you paid there. Somebody asked earlier, by the way, are you still offering any guide business, any guide service on Lake Norman?
I do a little bit, so if anybody wants to go, yeah, I'll take them.
What do they need to do? Do they just need to message you?
Yeah,
on?
just message on Instagram or Facebook. Something.
Okay, so-
Mostly on Instagram. I'm really bad about getting back on Facebook. Honestly. I'm not on there as much as I.
So for those that were asking earlier about Shane offering a guide service, and I've still I used to guide years ago and I quit, and I still, if I get somebody, occasionally I get somebody, I'll try to send them
Right,
over to
yeah.
you, but I hadn't had anybody in a while. But send Shane a message on his Instagram page, and if you're interested in the guide business on Lake Norman, that's your
Yeah.
best bet right there, hands down. And I think he knows a thing or two about catching one on Norman. I'd say
Every now and then.
How many tournaments you won on Norman? I know you're gonna say I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Have you won 100?
I don't know. I've only lived here for, I don't know, 10, 12 years, so probably not 100.
So that's 10 a year.
Yeah, I don't think
When
I
you
went
fished
10 a
all the
year.
night derbies and stuff like
Well,
every
yeah,
week,
if
you
you wanna-
probably did win 10
If
a
you
year.
want to count the 10 boat, 12 boat tournaments,
Tournaments
maybe,
are tournaments,
maybe.
man. Tournaments are tournaments. So.
There's really good years and there's okay years.
All right, so look up Shane on Instagram, Shane Lahue Fishing, right? It's
Yeah.
your Instagram handle. Send him a message if you're interested in taking a guide trip out on Lake Norman. He'll hook you up. That they did ask, do you do any other lakes around here other than Norman?
I do, yeah. If they want to go somewhere, I'll go a couple hours. It just depends.
Okay. So you'll go over maybe the Yak and Chain or down to Walleye or something like that over Lake
but I
Hickory
would
or
like
something.
a couple days notice so I can get over to the lake and
Right.
see what's going on.
Now that's a dedicated guide right there. He wouldn't just show up blind. He said he
No.
wants a couple days notice. He'll actually slide over there and try to figure out what the deal is before you get there.
Make sure I can make it worthwhile.
And you will do some educational trips too, won't you?
Yeah, I'll do some, especially like sonar trip. Last year I did a lot of panoptics.
Okay.
You know, kind of the live scope deal. We did a ton on that last year. So.
And Norman's a great lake for that.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Whether they're 10 inches or
Right.
18 inches, you can always find them and catch some.
And
doing
you can
that.
learn so much in 4 or 5 hours that, you know, I mean, I struggled when I first bought it, so, or
Yeah.
when I first got it on the boat. Like,
I think you think
there's a
one of the-
learning curve.
Talking about not getting off topic, but talking about forward-facing sonar, you think one of the biggest things that people are challenged with when they first start using it is just the confidence in how good those units really are?
Yeah, I think it's a little overwhelming. You know, kind of like side scan was. Like, what am I looking at? What is this? What is
Yeah.
that? And there's still times where I look at fish that I can't tell you it's 100% bass or not, but most of the time, now you can.
Do you want to, Daniel, just message Shane for some pricing on stuff like that because, you know, I don't know. It probably varies if it's 4 hour or 8 hour or whatever, but just
it
shoot
varies.
Shane a message on Instagram, Daniel, about pricing, especially if you're wanting like a Panoptics trip, something like that. So Tim Harrington said he wants a guide trip for Okeechobee. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say there might be some extra costs incurred in that, but you know, considering it's 12 hours away. But
Yeah, I saw
Anyway.
him the other day. He said he moved down there.
oh, okay,
Yep.
okay, very cool. All right. The trivia winner tonight will probably not win a free trip with Shane. I'm just going to go ahead and save Shane that deal there. But we are having a trivia giveaway at the end of the show, which, Tyler, I just realized I don't have a question for it.
Oh.
So while you're over there and everything's working really good, come up with something, anything. It could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Just make sure we know what the answer is and that
It could be a free guide trip. It just might be on Matt's credit card.
I don't have a credit card. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a credit card, Matt's credit card. Oh, so you're going to charge my card for their free trip? Oh, is that the way it works?
I'm on the Let's Talk Fish show.
I say, yeah, you got a point. Let's Talk Fish sponsored guide trip.
Yeah.
We did that one time, you know, for our 100 show giveaway. We gave away trips. Me and Brian
That's
did.
pretty
Took
cool.
out a couple guys, and it was a lot of fun. All right, so getting off topic now. Tyler's over there Googling.
Yeah.
He's over there
Somebody
Googling.
said have Shane come up with it, but it takes me a while to think. So
Shane's multitasking
yeah.
right now. Don't like,
That's too much going on.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm with him. Don't ask me to do it. All right. Travis Kennard had a quick question. We're going to jump right into our next topic here in just a second about you being the last man in the Bassmaster Classic. But Travis said, were y'all planning on fishing the Open at Hartwell if you didn't make the Classic? How do y'all choose on tournaments outside of the elites? I can be real quick to answer that and say I don't really fish tournaments outside the elites, so I'm going to pass that over to Shane because he fishes some tournaments outside the elites. And what do you base it on? Do you do it? You know, why do you do it, and which ones do you choose?
So I mean, I don't fish any of the opens. I would have if I would have been. So there was a point there where I thought I was going to be 1 or 2 out, and I definitely would have jumped in all of the last opens just to try. Obviously, because it gives yourself a chance anyway. But I mean, most of the stuff after the elites, I just fish at home. I just like coming home and fishing against all the guys I used to. You know, because I really don't get out on Norman like I used to. When I was in college, I was out 4 or 5 days a week. Every time I'd get done with school, even in high school, I was out. If I could only go for 3 hours, I was going.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the elites kind of take a toll, and you're away from your family, your wife, all that good stuff. So I try to stay home as much as I can, hang out with family while I can, and then, but I do enjoy, you know, I fish with Luke a lot when we fish the winter trails and stuff like that. I really enjoy wintertime fishing on Norman. It's for me, it's just a fun thing. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I finish last.
More about the fellowship up there,
Right.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, I just get to go and hang around all the guys I used to. So for
But
me,
you-
it's just fun. Like, if we win, we win. If we don't, it doesn't matter.
You're lying a little bit.
I mean, I want to win.
You're lying a little bit.
I want to win, yeah. But, you know, because I got a lot of buddies that are going to talk a lot of junk when I don't.
Correct. I know it's
and
almost
rightfully
like
so.
as an elite series professional, full-time professional fisherman, and you go to your home lake, it's almost a lose-lose situation,
It
right?
is, yeah.
If you win, you're supposed to win. If you lose, we beat an elite, you know, or whatever. But no, in all seriousness, there's a lot of really, really good fishermen at Lake Norman.
Oh, there is, and it keeps me on my toes going into next year. Like for when I fish the winter trail, you know, it gets me back into. Because honestly, I haven't fished. Like I've been one time in like a month and a half, so that's pretty slow for me.
It's one more than I've been.
I haven't been a ton. Now I'm getting ready to. We got the winter trail starting up here in
So
a couple weeks.
So Binkwood said let them come up with a trivia question, but I'm not sure how that would work. That means Tyler's over here writing, man. He's got options. I like it.
Yeah.
Tyler's on it. Tyler's on it. Y'all, shout out to Tyler because he's not like he's been kind of subbing in for Jeff to help with running the show, and Tyler's doing the absolute best that he knows how to do, which I think is a phenomenal job. But tonight we had our first hiccup with Tyler running the show, and he got it worked out.
Yep.
So kudos to Tyler. We appreciate that. We do appreciate that.
Somebody asked about the song.
Who'd you call a minute ago?
Well, I called Jeff, but
Okay.
he didn't have an answer.
He's like, I don't know. I'm not there. I know what his answer was. He's like, I don't know.
I improvised.
Oh, you improvised. Yep. You got it figured out. Yeah, I saw that. So, hit that question up, Shane.
So the entry song, I'm guessing they're talking about like your walk-up song. We all get to pick
Yeah,
one.
your entry song.
Yeah.
Tell them what it is for those that don't know.
It's Baby Shark. So it surprised me just as much as it did everybody that was watching when I came up.
Oh, you didn't know?
I had no idea.
Well,
So
wait a minute now. Did you actually fill out the survey they sent you?
That's what we're getting at here.
Okay.
I'm terrible with emails, and actually the guy's email got kicked to my spam, and I didn't realize it because it wasn't like we have a email chain through Bass, obviously, and there's like two main people that I know the emails that come through, and it got kicked to my spam folder, and I had no idea. So when I walked up the first time, I thought it was some buddies that picked it for me, which I don't know how they would have got a hold of that, but that was my thought process. So when I got up there,
Cobb.
yeah, I thought it was McBee.
Oh.
Because I called him, because there was like a running joke with us with the Baby Shark song, and we got loopy in a night tournament one night. Let's put it that way. We weren't catching anything, and it flies off the rails when it gets like that, especially with McBee.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And so
McBee, the owner of Tater Hog Baits,
Yeah.
if you're wondering.
that song it just stuck. All the kids love it. I've got a little niece. She absolutely eats it up. So it's probably here to stay forever.
I was going to say, you can't, at this point, you can't get rid of it.
No. So if I ever win the Bassmaster Classic, it's going to be really weird when they're playing the Baby Shark. If that ever happens.
Oh, is that? I don't even pay attention. When the confetti comes down and all that, do they play your song
I don't know if
after
they
that
do or
too?
not.
I don't think they do. I think
I
they got
hope-
special.
honestly,
I
I
think they
hope
got
not.
special music for that. We'll have to talk to the whoever.
Well, I need to win before that
the
happens.
DJ is. If you end up winning the classic, I have to slide back there and slip them $100 bill to play something
Just
like
to play it.
some AC/DC or something.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna keep them from playing it.
Yeah.
So that
I appreciate that.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
I'm not the friend that called them and told them to play Baby Shark when you.
I
when
thought
they
it
didn't have a
was
song for you.
somebody within the elites or McBee.
Yeah. All right. So, Shane, for those that don't know, you had a good season. You're in the Bassmaster Classic, okay? You had some really, really good tournaments, but it was a roller coaster of a season. And you did not find out until the final day at the Mississippi River that you had officially been the last man in the Bassmaster Classic because in the Elite Series, and I was 40th or 41st last year, so I got in last year due to a double qualification. But the Elite Series, if you have an elite angler that won the Classic this year, which was Jason Christie, or you have an elite angler that wins a Bassmaster Open, those spots for the next year's Classic revert back to the elite field, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
And I know that's easier for me to say as an elite angler, but that's the fair way to revert it back to the guys that are actually doing this full time for a living. Because of that rule and the way it worked out, we had 3 elite guys, if I'm not mistaken: Brandon Lester, Kenta Kamura.
Yep.
And who was the other one that won an Open? Lee Livesey.
Lee, yeah.
We had 3 elite guys that had won Opens already this year, and Jason Christie, who had won the Classic. So that was 4 double qualifiers already in, and they take 39, and you were 43rd, right?
I was 44th.
44th.
Because then the last tournament of the year,
That's right.
win and you get in.
That's right. The last tournament of the year, whoever wins that, because that used to be like the AOY championship, which is similar to same rule with that. If you win that, you're automatically in the classic. So that's 5 spots. Shane being 44th in the points was because there's 5 double qualifiers, was the last man in the 2023 Bassmaster Classic. There's still a shot to go down to the next in line with 2 opens left.
Yeah.
If an elite or somebody that's not qualified to make the Classic wins one of those events also. So talk about your year, and, obviously I know exactly how you were feeling and how thankful you were when you found out, because last year I was in the exact same boat the last tournament of the year, and I was like, that night, Emily and I were doing all the calculations trying to figure it out, the point totals, and I was the last man in that day until that tournament was over. Then I was the second to last man in because of who won the tournament. But, yeah, talk about that.
So this is actually the second time I've done that.
Really?
This is the second time I've been. So,
was it first one your rookie year?
no, it was
First year on the elites, I mean?
It was when we went to Hartwell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. I didn't realize that.
Because I think I was 42nd, and I was the last man in.
Got you.
So it's, obviously, typically I'm a very consistent fisherman with maybe one top 10 a year.
Very, yes.
This year was the exact opposite. I either had a really, really good tournament or I absolutely bombed, and I bombed way too many times.
Yeah, but you had 2 or 3 top 10s.
I think 2, and then I had 2 that were close.
Yeah, your season was not like a Shane LaHue season.
No, usually it's, I'll have one top 10 and then a lot of 20 to 45ths or, something like that.
That's right.
And
Day 3, consistent day 3s.
Yeah, and this year it was just not like that for whatever reason. I mean, I don't want to say I took any more chances than I normally do. Obviously, I fish like if I think I can take a chance in a tournament, I'm going to. And if I don't, I'm not afraid to lay up. Like, 10 grand gets the bills paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to finish 45th instead of finishing 80th. Well, this year I finished 80th a lot. So I had 4 really bad tournaments. The last 2 were really bad. I had a 70-something, and I think I finished 80th at the Mississippi River, which I had a bad practice at the Mississippi River. I found some fish in pool 7, decided not to go to pool 7 because the last day of practice I found fish in pool 8. And I was like, man, if I get locked out or something, I'm not going to make the Classic. So in that one, I did not take a chance where I should have.
Well, yeah, but, you're just like me from the conservative standpoint that if you can take uncontrollable variables out of the equation, that's what you do, and that's what I do all the time. I wouldn't have locked either. I'd have done the same thing. But when we say uncontrollable variables, the lock at the Mississippi River is a very uncontrollable variable.
There's a lot of barges.
Correct.
And you can get locked out in a hurry. And come to find out, there was a couple guys in that same little area that I found fish that they cracked them over there in pool 7, and they got back. There was 3 guys fishing within a couple 100-yard stretch where I wanted to be.
Oh, wow. And they all did good.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so the second day, I really scrambled. I didn't go to pool 7 until it was like a tornado.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was a really bad idea.
Yep.
And I had a couple topwater bites that were keepers that came off, and I spun myself out. And I never do that. And I think it was because I knew I was on the brink of not making it. Usually I'm very calm, collected. If I do good, I have the same demeanor as if I'd finish 80th. So.
Not quite like Jay Shakurik, same demeanor, though.
No, not quite as reserved. He's really, really reserved.
Cool hand, Jay.
So, it was a really bad up and down year for me. But hopefully and always I want to make the Classic. And I don't want to say I feel like I didn't deserve it because I did make it. But to me, I didn't have the year that I wanted to have.
In your mind, you were just
Right.
disappointed in
Very
yourself.
disappointed. I'm very hard on myself. I'm probably one of the hardest people on myself. You can ask Shelby.
Well, in a roundabout way, though, I think anybody that does, something professionally, like whether it's fishing, golf, tennis, basketball, baseball, you have to be, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to hold yourself accountable, especially fishing. You're 100% on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the only one making decisions.
Right. And if you're if you don't hold yourself accountable,
Yeah.
you're not going to get any better, and you're not gonna. I mean, you came back and cracked a couple top 10s. If you're going to have a couple 80s, you got to have a couple top.
Right.
And to do that, like that's pretty impressive because it's like, I mean, Scott Martin, my roommate, he went into the last event of the year, and if it was a top 25 or no classic, and he cracked the top 10. You know, I mean, there's guys out there that handle pressure really, really, really well. And I think your demeanor and your personality helps you when you get in situations or corners like that, you know. There's other guys that crumble under pressure. That's one of the biggest things about our sport, or the difference in a professional angler who is consistent or successful or has a 10+ year career fishing full time, and your average weekend tournament angler, right? We talk about the differences all the time, and we get questions all the time about this guy could do it, this guy could do it, yada yada yada. But one of the biggest things that people don't understand unless you've been there is exactly what Shane just touched on, and that's being able to regain focus after you come off of a bomb and then turn around and crack a top 10. I mean, that's especially in a multiple day event, back-to-back tournaments, things like that, where you can't imagine the type of pressure that someone's under, and you never know somebody's financial situation either, so or their homes or their personal life, things like that, because all that weighs into it, so being able to handle that and balance that is one of the biggest challenges for a professional angler,
right?
You
better have a short-term memory doing this.
Yeah, that's right.
Very, very short.
That's right.
You better be able to forget very easy.
Darling, I love you, but Emily says I don't have an issue with that, so I don't have any. I forget very easily. So maybe that's what helps me sometimes.
Yeah, it might. Everybody's different.
Yeah. No. Does each Elite Series winner get an automatic berth to the Classic, or is it just the Opens? No, it's not the Opens. You know who just called me? Bryan Thrift, who said he couldn't be on the show tonight, is calling me right now. I should pick it up. Watch, I'm going to pick it up. You want me to pick it up? I'm going to pick it up. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm sitting here in a Let's Talk Fish studio, and you're on live now. You forgot about the show.
No, I didn't. I told you I couldn't do it tonight.
But you knew I was doing it, right?
I did, but I did forget the show was actually going on right
I told the viewers I'm going to answer it. I said it's Thrift. I'm going to answer it. So, all right. Well, I'll let you run.
Question now when I'm live. I could be on the show for a question.
Well, I have to pull the questions back up, but I bet somebody's got a question for Bryan. We've talked about. Let's see, Bryan. We've talked about the cheating incident. We've talked about.
Hey, I know the walleye deal's been
It's been brought up. We talked about LaHue's Century Belt this year. We talked about the fact that LaHue was the very last man in the Bassmaster Classic this year. We've been talking about the mental aspect of doing what Shane did, meaning he bombed a couple tournaments and then came back to crack a couple top 10s in order to make the Classic, which is pretty amazing. And
sounds like a good show. I have to go back and watch.
yeah, that's a pretty good show. Pretty good show. But no, we sorry we missed you tonight, but I know you probably on kid duty.
No, it's good. Yeah, my wife had some plans. I hated to tell her she had to cancel her plans.
Sacrifices have to be made. It's part of the game we play. All right. Well, we will. I hadn't seen a question come through for you. If I do, I'll call you back.
I'll be after the show because I need to know what the flat from are.
Okay, I'll do it. See you, buddy. Bye. Mr. Bryan Thrift actually was temporarily in the house via cell phone. Yeah, isn't that funny? Like Bryan, he says he's going to go back and watch a show. You think he'll actually watch a show, Tyler? I don't know if he's ever watched an episode of Let's Talk Fish or listened to it. But he said, I'm going to go back and, he said, oh, it sounds like a good show. I might have to go back and watch it.
No, he'll forget.
He'll forget, yeah. He already forgot that it's 7:45 and we're actually sitting here in the studio. Oh, all right. I lost my train of thought a little bit, but I know you kind of got to you kind of wrapped up, the whole gist of your season and how it went, the ups and downs, and just professional fishing in general. But congrats on the Century Belt. Congrats on making the Classic. I know that's like a huge weight off your shoulders when you know you're in. I don't know who was behind you in the points.
It's Hunter Schrock now. He's fishing the Open.
So he's fishing the Open to try to potentially win and get himself in.
Whoever question that was,
All right. So I wonder if Summerall's fishing them.
I know he fished the Red River.
Yep.
I know he was there.
Yep.
So I don't know if he's going to be at Hartwell or maybe just the last. There's one more Central, I believe.
Okay.
He may. I'm sure he's going to fish that one.
So the next person in would be Hunter Shryock.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be Caleb Sumrall.
Right.
That's if an elite or somebody that's not eligible to that hasn't fished all the opens to make the Bassmaster Classic wins one of these last 2 opens. So we'll see how it shakes out. But like I said, it's better to be in your seat than theirs. No offense to either one of them,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I know the feeling. And again, it was a weird year this year.
It was.
Dealt with a lot of different situations, different fisheries were drastic. I mean, when you go from Oahe to the Mississippi River back to back, I mean, you talk about taking everything out of your boat and putting all this stuff in.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster for sure. Just in the fishing side of it, much less the the mental side of it, but the fishing side of it, it was like, all right, we're we're drop shotting out here in 60 foot of water. Now we're fishing grass in 3 foot of water.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a fun year overall. A lot of good fisheries, a lot of big fish were caught. A lot of big bags of fish were caught,
Yeah.
and we get to do it all over next year because the schedule looks pretty good for big bags and big fish.
Yes, it does.
What's
I'm
your,
pretty excited about the schedule.
What's your don't give me a new answer, okay? Favorite lake on the schedule next year for the elites?
Murray.
Okay, all right, quick and to the point. Now, actually, when I say don't give me a new answer, he's like all of them. I just love to fish. So actually, his was the same thing. He said Murray. Of course, now
He
anybody
spends a lot of time there.
he
Yeah.
lives there now.
Right.
He's like, I get to sleep in my own bed. You know. So
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'm sure he'll do well on that one.
yeah, he spent a lot of time on that.
And
lake.
I even like the Sabine. I mean, I know it's not a Slugfest tournament, but we have a lot of Slugfest tournaments next year.
Yeah.
So I like one that's got to keep you on your toes, I mean, I know it's kind of, Sabine to me last time we went was you got to get a little bit lucky, catch a couple 2.5 pounders, which sounds crazy.
Or 2-pounder.
Right.
2-pounder do it.
I think I weighed in 10 bass for like 11 pounds.
Did you get checked?
No.
I was gonna say that's not far off a
No.
check.
It might have been 10 pounds. And I had the 3-pounder the second day.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
And you had 10 bass,
I had 10 bass.
and you had a 3-pounder, and you had 10 pounds.
Pretty sure. It was between 10 and 12. It was, or 10 and 11, I'm pretty sure. It was,
Look, it's not hard to catch 5 there that weigh 4 pounds or less.
yeah.
Like you could catch 5 there.
I think I had 5 for 5 the first day.
Yeah,
5 even.
you could catch 5 that weigh less than a pound apiece. Easy keepers.
But it's a lot of fun because you get a ton of bites. Like,
you do
I mean,
from all kinds of stuff.
right. you catch fish the majority of the day
Yeah.
when you're there.
Oh, somebody said you owe somebody a windshield. You can talk about that if you want.
I was fishing in my buddy's boat, and it's a little smaller than ours.
You
So
broke his windshield.
Yeah, we were on the front deck, and a fish blew up in the grass, and I sent a spro frog right through his windshield. He had one of
A
those.
spro frog? That's
It
was
was
it
an
moving
older-
160 mile an hour?
I mean, I like to send it, and I sent it perfectly through the windshield.
Wait, when you set the hook?
No, on a cast. Like I said, I was standing on. It's like an 18-foot. It was an older Triton, so it had one of those real tall windshields. You know what I'm talking about? The old school ones.
Yeah, I couldn't do that if I tried though. I'm trying to picture this in my mind.
Dude,
Like,
I don't know.
and it went straight through it.
Straight through. Perfect spro frog hole.
This is a plexiglass windshield, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not like a
No.
walk through like glass, like
No,
fold
not
over
glass.
old school.
No.
Like okay,
No, this was
like
plexiglass.
shattered glass.
I mean, it
in-
was pretty tough to do. It was one of the best feats I've ever had in bass fishing.
So did it put like a perfect little hole?
It did. Yeah.
Then you hadn't got him a windshield since.
No, I told him I would. He never sent me a bill.
That's a good friend.
Yeah.
He probably never got it replaced.
He probably
Truth
didn't.
be told.
I think he sold the boat actually, so he might have.
Oh, all right. Travis said, "Look, you going hard in the paint."
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes. By the way, Tyler, did you get us a trivia question?
I got us one.
Okay, you got us one. Are you going to ask it?
I might as well.
I better ask it just in case your mic's jacked up or something.
Well, I think they can hear me pretty well.
Well, we got 10 minutes. I'm just making sure you got one
I
ready.
think we're good. I
So-
even got answers for both of y'all.
Oh, good, perfect. Oh, he wrote us answers on little cut pieces of paper, so we know who to look for in the feed. Are you seeing the feed? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, all good. So trivia question in the show here in about 8 or 9 minutes, roughly, and we will give away a Angler's Choice high performance hoodie along with the Angler's Choice hat. Be sure to message us. I still haven't heard, and I can't remember, forgive me, who won last week. I still have not gotten the message from them on Facebook. Remember, send a message to the Let's Talk Fish Facebook page of your shipping address, the size shirt that you wear, and we'll get that out to you ASAP. But I did not get a message from our last winner. One of the few that I have not seen, but just shoot us a message over to our Facebook page if you do remember. I mean, if you do end up winning the trivia at the end of the show. All right, let's see what else we got. We talked about the cheating incident. We talked about your Century belt. We talked about your year on tour. Off season for Shane. You said you don't have a boat right now, but you don't hunt.
No,
You golf a little bit.
I do golf.
So you're gonna golf any?
Oh yeah, we're gonna try to golf as much as we can.
Do you play pickleball?
I don't know. I don't. Never played.
I got into pickleball.
I heard.
I play like 3 or 4 days a week now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm an addict. It's bad. It's real bad. But I needed some kind of cardio, right?
Yeah.
And everybody always asks what we do in the off season, and everybody knows me know I hunt. Shane's a golfer, and Shane fishes a lot in the off season. Fishes a lot of winter tournaments, things like that. But I used to run and do some things like that years and years ago. And I was never big into like lifting weights. I mean, y'all look at me. I'm sure some of you are saying, "Oh, no kidding, can't, like we can't tell." I was never a big weightlifter, right? But I was always, concerned about just being in good cardio shape, and that's more important for us as far as endurance on the water and things like that. It's not about how much you can lift or pick up; it's about how long you can last.
Right.
We're fishing against guys. I say but how old are you now, Shane?
33.
Oh, he's still young. But when you get up there, I mean, you're fishing against these 25-year-old college kids. They're that are in tip-top shape, and you don't realize how important endurance on the water
Yeah.
is.
Oh, it
so,
is. It's exhausting.
But pickleball's good cardio for anybody that's interested. We're fortunate. We have a lot of players in the county, a lot of good players in the county. We have a really nice pickleball complex here in the county. It's got 8 courts, I believe, and then they play indoors when it gets super cold in the wintertime. But it is a lot of fun. I know y'all can pick and make fun all you want, but it's
There's nothing wrong with pickleball.
don't hate it till you try it.
No.
I didn't even know what it was over a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of know what it is, but I still don't. Like,
It's the fastest growing sport in the U.S.
You'd have to show me how to play.
You
I'd have
believe
no
that?
idea.
It's
Yeah.
the fastest growing sport in the U.S. They used to say that about fishing. I don't know what happened.
It was fishing, then it was soccer, now it's pickleball.
Yeah, well, soccer's the biggest sport in the world. It always has been. So, or football.
Yeah.
Call it soccer or
Well,
football.
it's growing in the U.S. a lot. I mean, we even have a football team now.
Charlotte, yeah. Have you been to a game, by the
I
way?
have not.
Emily and I went to a game, and that's the most fun I've ever had.
Really?
At a professional sports event, we went to a Charlotte football soccer club, Charlotte FC game, which is a major league soccer team here in Charlotte. We just got it last year, year before. Is their second year? Is this their second year? Might be their second year.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was a blast. I mean,
I'll have to go.
there's one section behind the goal there, all home team fans, all Charlotte FC fans, flying flags and dancing and hooting and hollering the entire game. They never sat down. And Emily and I were like, it was awesome to watch and a lot of fun. But we're glad we're not in that section because
Right.
we'd have never seen the game at all. And they never stopped. And
They were here for the party.
That's right. They were there for the party, and they partied the entire game.
I don't
And
blame them.
It was a lot of fun, but anyway, I don't know how many soccer fans there are out there. I know there's a lot in the world, but I don't know how many that actually watch this show. So.
Probably not a ton.
Yeah. Some people said they don't know what pickleball is. Well, Google it. Watch it on YouTube. It's cool, man. Tyler knows what it is. No, Tyler doesn't know what it is. He looked at me all
It's
funny.
the sport that gets you injured before a fishing tournament.
Yeah, that just happens when you get old and you don't stretch, Tyler. It is how I tore my calf muscle earlier this year, right before Santee Cooper, which, yeah, don't go there. Let's put it this way. I stretch really, really, really good before I play now. I got there at the courts one morning, and they were like, there was 3 players out there. They needed a player just to start a game. I didn't stretch. I jumped right in the game. Next thing I know, I felt like a rattlesnake bit me in the back of the calf, and I had a hole in my calf about that big. And it's where the muscles, it didn't pull, they ripped apart. Yeah, it ain't.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it sucked.
I'm out for pickleball.
Oh,
at
you're
this
out for
point.
pickleball?
Yeah,
You just got to stretch a little
You
bit.
just sold
Shane.
me.
You could do that. Hey, man, you could like tear your back out or hurt your rotator cuff swinging a golf club.
That's true.
Do you do the golf club stretches and stuff?
No, I just get out there and swing.
You just get out there and swing. Yeah.
I swing as hard as I can every time.
Yeah, I like it. I like just send it, right?
Yeah, that's
just
right.
Send it. All right. Let's one more question, then we're gonna jump into our trivia question. I know it's almost 8:00. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Shane. I'm gonna let you answer this question.
Okay.
I'll answer it too. I'm gonna let you start. What do you guys think about Poche's win? Anybody that's not familiar, Keith Poche, who just recently won on the Red River Bassmaster Open down in Louisiana. He was using a different boat. He was able to access some water that others weren't able to access because of that boat. Should there be any boat restrictions? Well, there are boat restrictions.
I mean, for us.
Yeah,
So-
and clarify that.
So whatever boat we start the year in, that's the boat we have to finish the year in. So if he decides he wants to run a John boat or whatever, tunnel hole, whatever it may be, that's the boat you have to run the entire year. Now, unless there's something catastrophic that happens, like I know Chris Johnston had to borrow a boat, but
Well, I did the same thing when mine got hit.
right, and you have to borrow a comparable
It has to be basically the same
same.
size,
Right.
model, roughly, and it has to be approved through the tournament director.
Yeah. So there was nothing wrong with his win because I mean he's not out of the wrong. It's not against the rules in the opens. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
Now, yeah, so the question is, he was well within the rules. Keith didn't do anything wrong. He figured out a deal to win the tournament, and kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
But do you think the Opens should follow the same rules as the elites as far as boat restrictions? Or do you think those guys should be able to jump around boats?
Now, yes,
Okay,
because now we're going to the 9 opens where you've pretty much got to fish them all,
right.
and you're attempting to qualify for the elites.
Yep.
So I believe their rules need to be the same as ours.
Okay, so I 1,000% agree to that. And this is where I have a problem with if you jump over to MLF and look at the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit guys, which they've completely changed that whole system, right? I don't
Right.
even know how, these guys make the BPT and yada, yada, yada. But they're still, these guys who are training for this level are fishing on a 5-fish format
Right.
to qualify for a BPT, which completely changes the entire format. And anybody that says that that's not an entirely different ball game, it's not just still catching bass. It is a completely different way of thinking, a completely different approach to practice how you fish the tournament, yada yada yada. A good fisherman will figure it out and still be successful. But similar to what Shane just said, if you're training for Major League Baseball and you're playing in the minors at the Durham Bulls or whatever AAA level team you're at, you need to be playing by the same rules to prep you for the big leagues. You
Right.
know, and I think that's a good point. So now that you're required to fish 9 opens to make the elites,
Yeah.
that rule definitely needs to be in place. Where this guy, because there's a lot of guys fishing those opens. Let's be honest, especially these young college kids, they don't have access to 2 or 3 or 4 boats.
No.
And I'm always been a fan of an equal playing field, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got $20,000 of electronics on your boat, I should have $20,000 of electronics on my boat. If you've got 62 rods, I should have 60. The point is, like, at the elite level, everybody is on the level playing field
Right.
because, obviously sponsors and things like that. But at the opens levels, some guys might be a little bit more spread out based on their financial situation, sponsor support, things like that. So if you make a rule that pertains to a boat, then that's a great rule, right? Because these guys, it keeps everything on an even playing field as far as the boat's concerned.
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the boat that he used. Somebody said that he fished in it all year, which that's great. But I mean, if he does fish the elites again, then and if he wants, I have no problem with him running a smaller boat all year.
No, not
if
at all.
If that's what he wants, what he wants to fish out of, that's fine.
Right. You pick the
Yeah.
boat at the beginning of the
Right.
year and you stick with it. And somebody just said, we're not saying Keith jumped around boats.
No.
And somebody said he fished the same boat in them all, and that's fine, no big deal. But I think that they still have an option where those guys can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can switch boats.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the whole gist of the conversation here. So that was that the boy that won Lewis that won the college deal.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, he was getting a lot of really good praises on social media because of on the Bassmaster Facebook page. If anybody saw the boat that this kid was fishing out of,
Yeah.
it'd been through the ringer a
Oh,
time
yeah.
or two.
Heck yeah.
I mean, the foam hanging out of the seats, right? electronics. It's not like he had 5 graphs on this boat. He did it old school. He did it his way. And I love seeing tournaments
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I do too.
And they're, you know, as a viewer, I've always said those tournaments are more entertaining. I'm sorry, but they
Yeah.
are.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing
sure.
against any electronic masters out there. We all use it when we have to. But at the same time, would you rather watch a guy flip a jig and a lay down and throw a whopper plopper down the bank and watch one explode on it and then pick up a, you know, whatever and skip it way up under a dock and jack a 5-pounder out? Or would you rather watch a guy sit out there in open water and live scope smallmouth all day?
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like from an entertainment
yeah.
standpoint, it's just cool. It's cool to watch. It's more entertaining. It's more engaging. All
Also,
right.
I got to add,
Go ahead, Tyler.
not only did he win to get that to the Classic out of that boat, if I remember correctly, him and his partner won Team of the Year for the whole college series out of that boat.
Oh wow! Okay, so I hope that's right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
they
it
won
is.
Team of the Year.
They did.
That's,
I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Thank you for adding that, Tyler. That's really cool. And congrats to those kids on that Team of the Year award. That's pretty awesome. All right, it's 8:01. It's time for our trivia question, Tyler. So you're going to have to slide it over here and share the love. Tyler gets all the credit tonight for coming up with the trivia question. So if it
Good job,
sucks,
Tyler.
y'all hate on him. If it's great, I helped him come up with it. He's giving us the answers right now. Giving us he gave me the question, so you don't have to. Oh, God, this looks like, goodness gracious. I hope this is right because I don't know if it's right.
I'm
Lord
not a
have
math
mercy.
major.
Shane, we're liable to be here till 8:30. It's 8:02 right now.
It shouldn't be
We need
that
a
bad.
timer on this.
No. Timer, well, you mean give it to the closest one? If I tell you what, let's round it off to the nearest whole number. Yeah, and let's just to make it where this might not take. We're getting so many answers. This always happens, Shane. Shane hadn't been on the show in a while, but people just start throwing answers at us, hoping we'll
I love that.
say, "Oh, we got a winner," and we hadn't even asked the question. Nobody ever wins before the question's asked. I don't care what y'all say. They're starting. Randy, you smart. He's starting at 1. Well, I'll go ahead and give you a hint, Randy. You got a long way to go. All right, Tyler. If I ask this the wrong way, you better correct me. But this is for an Angler's Choice High Performance hoodie and a Angler's Choice hat. Remember, if you win, send us a message on our Facebook page with your size and your shipping information, and we will get that out to you ASAP. Shane, you got the answer. I've got the answer. Tyler's got the answer. The first one that comes through our feed is the winner. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The first one that comes through our feed. If it came through on your feed a little different, apologies. We can't see your feed. We can only see our feed. So, all right. So the question is, I need to know mine and LaHue's combined total weight of the final 2 elite tournaments. Shane had the answer, but he didn't know what the question was. He's looking at me like, huh? So it's a little confusing, but not really. I need to know mine and Shane's combined total weight of the final 2 elite tournaments.
These guys are guessing way too
Wow.
high.
Shane just gave y'all a hint. Y'all are high.
I mean, I'm trying to help. If you guys hadn't watched the show earlier,
Oahe sucked.
I
by the
said
way.
I sucked the last 2 events. So the majority of this is Matt.
We know they weren't paying attention because LaHue said he finished. What'd you finish in the last 2 tournaments?
We don't want to talk about it anymore.
But it couldn't have been 260 pounds worth.
We would have both won, I think. I think we would have tied for the win.
Woo! I see a close one. Man, they're coming through so fast. I can't even keep up with them.
I've only seen one close one.
I've
one close
seen
one.
several within 8 to 10. You know,
Oh, that was close.
y'all see one, let me know because it's going through so fast. I can't even pick up on it. In the meantime, y'all, I'm gonna scroll back and and see if there's a question while LaHue and Tyler look for a winner. And by the way, round it off to the nearest whole number. You don't have to put ounces on
Oh,
there.
there we go.
Y'all have already figured that out. Oh, you got a winner?
Are you going up from that number?
What? No, the nearest whole number.
Okay.
What's the nearest whole number to that? Did you fail math class?
I got one.
Yeah.
You got one?
Yep.
Who y'all got? Because I ain't even seen it.
GW.
GGW?
Yep.
What's the answer, Tyler?
109 pounds.
It was actually 109.1. I see GGW with 108. Oh, no, I see it with 109. There it is.
He's still guessing.
All right, GGW, you are, well, we have a little delay on the show.
Yeah.
In case you start dropping bad words or something, we can beep it up. No, actually, we're
Did
not
you
that
get them all
fast.
out already? I can go back through them if you want.
Yeah, so GGW, whoever you are, send us a message on our Facebook page with the size shirt that you wear and your shipping address, and we will get that out to you ASAP. It is 8:05. Shane, you got anything to add, man?
No, not that
No.
I think we've covered a lot.
I need to add.
Tyler has something to add.
I seen earlier that the last winner said they emailed Jeff.
I saw earlier.
Message
earlier.
you.
Not seen earlier. I saw earlier.
Well, I'm not a grammar person.
You
either.
bet you and Thrift were in the same class, weren't you?
Correct.
Yeah.
But I seen where they said they emailed Jeff, which
Send it again.
means it's lost somewhere in space.
He emailed Jeff his information.
Yes.
All right, so back to my statement.
He
Send
said
us
he
a
don't
message.
have. He don't have.
Doesn't have Facebook?
One of the two.
All right. Can I email you?
Sure.
Okay.
It's Tyler@lunkertex.com.
Okay, Tyler, Tyler at lunkertex.com. This is for last week's winner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Last week's winner, email that, Tyler at lunkertex.com, Tyler at lunkertext.com. Email Tyler your information, and we will get that package out to you. And then this week's winner, granted you have Facebook, send us a message on the LTF Facebook page. All right. We good now? We good. 109 pounds. And how many days of fishing is that? You know, that's 2 tournaments and 2 guys, and Hugh did that in 1 tournament by himself.
I didn't help you out on that
Makes
number
me feel
at all.
like a
though.
minion.
The last 2, this was like all you. I think I had about 6 of those pounds.
That's
what it felt like
You had
anyway.
more than 6.
That's what it felt like.
You had more than 6. All right, so what's next for you, Shane? You're going. What are you fishing coming up? Anything?
Just the winter trails. Yep.
Okay, you said you're going to fish the Special Olympics tournament.
Yeah, more than likely I'll be there.
Okay, couple cool tournaments coming up. We're going to talk about more when I get the details. The SOA Special Olympics tournaments usually always in November on Lake Norman. Great.
It's the 5th.
Is November 5th? Oh, you
think
already
so.
know the date of it.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
So November 5th. I've got the details, but I didn't bring them up on my phone tonight. I'll talk about it next time we have an LTF episode. Great tournament, great calls. Ricky Peace does a phenomenal job with that event. A lot of cool donations for that tournament to help raise money. I actually I gave a signed jersey for the raffle and all there, or the prizes there. They pay like, I don't know, like 30 places or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's a
It's a great
lot.
payout for a great cause, guys. Check that tournament out. Special Olympics. They have a Facebook page for that event. I like I said, next episode I'll come back with full details. The other tournament, anybody that did any business with Scott Clark Toyota knows that we lost a good man in Jimmy Klein, who was a general manager down there for years and years. Anybody that bought a truck down there that fished knew who Jimmy was. Phenomenal guy. Did a lot for the Riley's Catch program. They're going to have a benefit tournament for Jimmy. I believe it's at Lake Norman also. I know Hank Cherry's helping out a lot with that event. And we'll get you details of that event too, which is coming up very soon. So great couple tournaments coming up this fall, this winter for great causes. There'll be a lot more coming down the pipe. Again, I'll get you all the details coming up for the next episode. But guys, gals, Shane, thanks for joining us.
Yep. Thank you guys. I
You the
appreciate
man.
it.
And say hey to Grandma.
Hey, Grandma. I know you're watching.
I
So
hope
is my wife. Because,
You better say hey to Shelby too.
yeah, the golf comment. So Shelby beats me all the time.
Oh yeah, his wife's
Yeah,
a phenomenal
she's
golfer.
phenomenal
by the way.
golfer. So she had to throw that text in there when we were talking about golf.
Oh, is that you got a
Yeah,
text?
yeah.
And she said what?
She rubbed it in. We played Sunday, and she beat me by like 4 or 5.
What's Shelby? I gotta ask. What's she shoot? What's her handicap?
I don't know. She doesn't play enough to establish a handicap, so she won't play for like 3 months.
She's
and
just
then
a
she'll
naturally
shoot like
gifted golfer.
upper 70s, low 80s every time.
Upper 70s, low 80s, and plays every couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I play all the time, and I'm stuck mid 80s.
Mid 80s is not bad though.
I'm
It's
just
not
stuck,
bad.
though.
You don't play all the time. You fish too much.
Well, true. True.
Golf is kind of like anything else though. You gotta stay after it.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you gotta stay after it. But anything. Anyway, thanks Shane for joining us. Tyler, thanks for all the hard work tonight.
We
Good job,
tried.
Tyler.
You did a good job. Even though we're down one camera, maybe two. and Lord knows what else is broken when Jeff gets back to the studio. But anyway, y'all, appreciate you watching. It's been another great episode. I'm going to be out next week, so heaven forbid Jeff and Brian try to do a show without me, but it's happened one time in 120 shows. It's happened one time. Went somewhat okay, I think. But anyway, when we can't go fishing, we'll sit right here on Tuesday nights and we'll talk fish. See y'all next time.